It's sort of like a self-help book. I was like, can I get away with this? Because it's basically laying out, because basically when I left New York, I was totally burnt out and sick and went to the hospital. And this, that's part of Mona's story, realizing that, oh, my head and my body are connected. What? And if I don't take care of my body, it'll kill me. So that's when I really got into like, okay, we got to like learn how to take care of ourselves. So my healing story is all in Mona's story. So the top three in her story are Artnar love and self-care and creative expression, that art therapy. So doing the art for yourself, doing art with other people, that's what Artnar love is. And I'll get into more detail about what, Artnar. And of course, self-care, which I know it's a big buzzword. And a lot of the things that are down in yellow are actually things that are in my self-care plan. So those I'll just like breeze through because I don't want to, overwhelm you. But also I just wanted to share that these are things that have helped me. So just in case there's something that maybe resonates with you, we're like, oh, I hadn't really thought about, maybe I'll like weave that into my plan. So of course, the big thing, like what really helped me, like after I made Will and Wit, I got real depressed because Will and Wit's kind of about death. And I was like, let's make a book about death, yay! While living in an apartment surrounded by construction and with a broken heart, yeah, burnt out. And so it was my Artnar Lauren Larkin that really helped pull me out of the well. So her and I did a collaboration where we invented this called Artgrade. And having that support system was like incredible to turn friends into partners. So now, I have friends, but my friends are partners, and because when you're creative together or just supportive of each other, you're like turning them into a more serious role in your support system because it is really intimate and personal. So this is like when Mona falls in Artnar love with new girl Haley. And so this whole Artnar model is sort of like a healthy way for creatives to connect because oftentimes there's competition and scarcity, but Artnership is sort of our model for these are the things that are tenets that we want to help support with each other and hold each other accountable for. So healing is to counteract, the creatives often have like mental and physical illness. Connection is to combat isolation. Flexibility is to combat overly rigid expectations that we all suffer from. Success is to counteract, financial insecurity, which is also something that's like bringing us down and can divide us. And then whimsy is for to combat burnout, to stay playful about it. So this is sort of the core of what Artnering is. And I've had many Artners over the years. When I was young, again, that top row, I preferred to sort of hide in a crowd of performers rather than stand out. So I didn't even know that they were my Artners, but they helped me build confidence by giving me safe spaces to use my voice and be weird. And as an adult, I continue to love working collaboratively because also it really helps combat being alone in the studio so much. In the back of Mona, I have my self-care plan. So, it's sad when this is like it needs a little updating, but there's a blank one. So you can like fill out your own. And basically it's just making lists. And I know it like looks like a lot. It started off looking more like here on the left. So it was like 20 things. There were like 20 things in my self-care plan. And now it's like a lot of things. But it's good because I'm kind of just turning my life into self-care, where everything is restorative. And I also have this posted on my website too, so you can download it. So the physical needs, actually, it's better if I run through it in this little flower diagram. So those are all the ingredients. So if you want to come up with your own way to make a self-care plan, you can just sort of make some lists in whatever way it feels good to you. Maybe they're on Post-it notes. Maybe you do it as a color wheel, but it's your emotional needs, mental needs, physical needs, plus like food, medicine, and supplements. Then making lists of your support system, which I like to also think of doing as a constellation, like a little constellation of who is in your support system. The red flag rituals are like on the very bottom left there, you see red flag ritual. For me, it's when I'm like really out of it, it's like, okay, just take a shower, make some tea, light some incense, and stare at breath. This, just like some deep breathing, and like ask for help. Because I can't make smart decisions when I'm not doing well, when I'm operating from stress. So also being aware of my stress warning signs. So like this weekend I had some stress warning signs. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna send out a text and like reach out to somebody, being like, hey, my heart needs like uplifting. Can we connect? So yeah. So the self-care plan has been a big thing. Wait. Okay, so Artnar love, having a self-care plan, and creative expression. This is like the third big one that's in Mona's story. And so she sort of is more of a writer. So she does more like journaling and like word art. And here she's like about to do a drawing on some word art. Because my art is my art therapy, and it always starts with journaling. So I'll start with journaling, and then start to do like thumbnails, like looking for the pictures in okay, what is this really about, and how can we draw about that, and what's a good metaphor we can use. So like, here's me in one way I personify my matter is Mr. Unworthy, sort of is actually like a cute little Muppety guy who just says, I'm worthy, I'm worthy. That's like all he says. So I drew him all cute. So it's like, okay, he's just not going anywhere. So we just got to be friends. And my sketchbook there, that's my cousin's drawing of her matter, which really like creeps me out because I don't know. It's like, we both have the same like, creepy voice. Then other things, I'll breeze through these more quickly because also, these I feel like are more universal healing ways. So meditation, which I hated when I was young and did it, but now I'm like, I meditate like every day before bed, like 10 minutes. I don't know, it's been like 5 years. And I do yoga every week, and I dance every Sunday. Dance has saved my life, truly. And so here's Mona doing like a breathing exercise with her therapist. Yeah, I used to notice I would hold my breath while I was drawing, but now I'm really much more aware of my body. So I'll actually like breathe with the lines, and I feel like the art looks so much better, that the art breathes. And see, self-study and journaling, that's also something that that's really helped me with noticing my own patterns and what the story that I'm telling myself is, being like, wait a minute, that's not true. Like we don't want to, we got to change that. Or to even figure out like what emotion we are feeling. So then music, mood management. Oh man, I used to always listen to like sad music before bed and be like, I don't know why I'm sad. So I am very aware of this. So I always have music on in the studio when I'm working. And so finding the right soundtrack to sort of curate my mood, I find is really helpful. And also just, I make so many mixes, and I actually make mix CD. I know it's very analog. I also do Spotify, so I'm not totally, out of it. But having music that I'm excited about, like it helps me be excited about life. So whenever I'm down, I'm always like, okay, let's find some fun music to listen to. And I always make soundtracks for my books too. So that's the Mona soundtrack. And talk therapy. I had never seen a young adult graphic novel like on my bookshelf with a character going to a therapist. I'm sure, I feel like there must be a bunch of books with this, but I didn't have any like on my bookshelf. So I thought, let's help normalize this, because I've had bouts of depression, like at the beginning of the pandemic. Actually, right before the pandemic, I started seeing a counselor. So it was really helpful to have during that transition time when pandemic hit. And so I love like my Dr. Vega here. She is based on a woman that helped me like a bunch of years ago. And let's see, then other types of therapy. I started when I lived in New York. I was doing this thing where I was writing, where I was noticed that the words I was telling myself were wrong. I was like, wait, I'm not crazy. Why do we keep thinking we're crazy? Like, we're actually visionary. We're visionary. So I started writing the new words on myself. And I did this for like 3 months. And someone else said, that's like narrative therapy. I was like, what's that? But as a storyteller, like I think that if you're attuned to story, that yeah, you can manipulate those stories if you are paying attention to them. Because I was like, yes, why am I thinking I'm alone? Like I'm not alone. So I use my imagination. Like yesterday, I was thinking about like all the connections I have to so many people, like in my head, like all the heartstrings. I'm like, yeah, I'm not alone at all. Like, why are we telling ourselves that? So as a storyteller, yeah, take charge of your story if you can hear it. Nature therapy, this is the big one. This is a panel from Mona and then a panel from a comic I did during pandemic called Hike Break, which is based on sort of the contemplative practices I do when I am hiking. Because I'm outside a lot. Like I go out for a hike pretty much at the end of the studio every day to also sort of shake off the studio. So I'm not stuck in flow state and it'll like keep me up to midnight. Like I don't want that. So I have a very healthy boundary between like studio and real life. So once I'm done with studio, I literally like walk away and reconnect with my body and be like, you know what, we're not supposed to receive more transmissions today. Business hours are closed. Please come back tomorrow. Genius. So nature, oh, it's so calming. And down to the final things. So Mona models how when I was young, I did a lot of volunteering, and that really helped me have like a sense of purpose. And so then that, instead of like beating myself up about like, what am I supposed to be doing? And it also was like a way to sort of engage with the outer world in like a safe way. So, and I have done like different types of volunteering over the years, and it's always really a boost for, I don't know, when I'm too lost in my heart, like if I get a little too emo, like reflective, like belly gazing, it's like, okay, go out and like do something. And then you're like meeting other people also doing something that's not about you. And it really helps me get me like out of that. It's like, put something in my hands, like give me something to do. And then Artivism, another sort of way to take those emotions and like action and get it. Because I find the problem is not having the emotions. It's when it like, I can't, it's like stuck or it's like drowning me. It's like, I got to find healthy ways to get it out. So some like action steps. And so Artnar and Artivism is basically like activism meets art. So I call myself a citizen artist, which is a term I learned from the Kennedy Center. And that's when you're not just an artist alone in isolation, that art is, you're bringing it to a public space and using it to engage with community and connect with people that maybe need some art. So here's Mona and her Artnars doing a little installation in the cafeteria, which I would love to do in real life. But I did it on paper. I was like, maybe if I draw it, then it'll actually happen. And yeah, so, and then I think this is the last one is self-advocacy, which I really wanted to include in Mona, because when I was having some health issues after New York and I was having pain and went to the doctor, like, oh, you're fine. I was like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just making it up. Because when you have a strong imagination, it's hard. Sometimes I have that, is it in my imagination? Is this real? Like, because it's so powerful in there. Sometimes I feel like it gets a little confusing. And so thankfully we figured out like what was the problem. I had like a mass in my intestines, but everything else about me was like very healthy. So I just wanted to have in Mona's story, it takes like a few times for her to really like sort of figure this out. It's like, yeah, don't give up. If there's something wrong, don't feel like you're being a burden to try to figure it out, because your body is telling you something. So don't turn off the body because it's trying to tell you something. And also, I didn't notice for the longest time that if I had physical pain, it made me sad. Like, I feel like a lot of times I was sad, there was actually really, I was just like, my body was unhappy. And it was, so I don't know, a lot of Mona's story is also just tuning into the connection between like your two brains, your head brain and your belly brain and your heart and everything's connected. Okay, I think that was the last of that. So I'm gonna stop my slideshow. Ah! So there's a bunch of ways on how Mona heals in the book.